So I'm David Garner. I'm the County Director with Abbeville County. Formerly I was the Town Administrator for Calhoun Falls, and before that I worked with the State Emergency Management Division in South Carolina as a Regional Emergency Manager, and was also a paramedic and firefighter for the years before that. So some of the threats and risks with Abbeville County, we're a very rural community, so we are very exposed to tornadoes, high wind events. Usually flooding has been an issue in the past in winter weather. We're not very exposed to hurricanes very often, but the severe weather is usually something that we encounter 3 to 4 times a year. Obviously a hurricane this far inland is not something that we typically prepare for on a daily, let alone yearly or even annual basis. For the Hurricane Helene, we had those conversations ahead of time, but then really the evening of the 26th and the morning of the 27th, as the situation worsened, we realized that the impacts are going to be much higher than we ever anticipated. A number of responders that I saw come through the EOC relaying information, asking for where am I needed next, what's the next work assignment. The County Emergency Response Team, the ACERT, I saw those guys frequently throughout the day, and every time they came back in, they were muddy, wet, covered in sawdust. I was really impressed that that's not something that they're necessarily called to do every day, and no one shied away from what needed to be done. They all were willing to chip in, whether or not that was part of their typical job function or not. I won't point anyone out because they all did just amazing work, and every single responder went above and beyond what's ever been expected or really thought that they would need to do. Yeah, so I've said it time and time again, but I'm incredibly proud and honored to have been part of this community during this response. It was something that we never could have planned for. And so to see our entire community come together, to work hand in hand with your neighbors, volunteers, responders, I was very impressed with the teamwork, the camaraderie, and everyone sharing the same mission. Public safety has always been a priority in Abbeville County, and so I felt honored to be part of that team. The response that is still ongoing today as we recover from it, but really in those first 48 to 72 hours, as they all came together, I really felt like there was nothing that we couldn't accomplish with the team that we had on hand. The few things that did break was our fuel supply. That was the most critical issue. We were able to solve that with some of our local partners, but fuel supply became an issue across the entire county. So we had to work with our fuel providers to have emergency deliveries. And one of the things was we noticed that if you were not on Wi-Fi calling, as soon as you got out of the building, you did not have any cell phone service. So the administrative staff, myself, and some of the other management staff were also using the Fleettalk and Rock Communications in order to communicate, because we could not send text messages, we could not call each other. The only stable communication platform we had was our radio system. So for communication for us during a disaster is probably the number one in importance, but it's also the number one failure that we often see in disasters. It's often one of the first points that come across in after action reports, and so that's been a high priority of ours in Abbeville County to always keep that as a focus of our priorities and what we want to make sure is the most stable. Our radio system in Abbeville County during Hurricane Helene, I would really evaluate it as flawless. We did not experience any delays in communication. There were no outages. Every responder and every entity, even users that aren't typically on our system, such as Public Works, who had to kind of change their strategy and get on it in the last moment, experienced no issues whatsoever. Unbeknownst to us, if any sites or anything went down, we never had any issues with our coverage or any areas of the county that experienced an outage, so it was, in my opinion, flawless. At one point, we actually had a firefighter that was injured. There was a critical event, and they had to stop all radio traffic so that dispatch could focus on that one event. Again, that's something that when you're on different systems can actually cause a crisis and a major delay. But with our situation and the interoperability we had built in through Rock Communications and Fleettalk, everyone was hearing the same thing and the same message being broadcasted. So it definitely helped us respond to that and figure that situation out quicker than I would say we would have before. So look at your needs and what your goals are. I think most of our goals are interoperability, but really, what is the stability of your platform? if you have outages, what is your backups and your fail-safes. ROC did a great job of communicating that to us as we developed the system, and how they would build in that redundancy to make sure even in a disaster such as Hurricane Helene, if there were to be site issues or failures, that they had those backups and those fail-safes in place, that we would not experience any type of delays or issues on the response level. And Hurricane Helene was proof of that. It was the first time that we fully tested it, had the entire county stressing and testing the system, and had no issues, as I said. So before Hurricane Helene, when we started down this path of evaluating our communication system and looking what the county needs were, we noticed that every entity was on either a different band or a different system, let alone frequencies. So as we started to evaluate that, our first priority was putting everyone on the same platform, number one, and it's supporting interoperable communications along the county. Fleettalk and ROC Communications were the most respondent proposal that we received, and it really guided us through the implementation of it. You know, they were advertising kind of that 95% plus coverage, and that's a tall order. But I can definitely say that they have delivered on that, beginning from the day that they actually went live in Abbeville County, and every day since we have been more than satisfied, not with just their communication, but with how they have worked with us, how they have kind of stayed in communication with any developments in the system or what they're working on currently. And really supporting the infrastructure. Before, when infrastructure was the county's responsibility, it was a massive, overwhelming task that we could not really, budget for, nor did we have the staff to handle it. And taking that out of our hands, now it's with ROC Communications. It's seamless and something that the county could not do itself without their support.